Let's go for
What's
it.
up, guys? It's Ed here from Geek, and I am here with Claude Diamond.
Yay.
And I'll tell you a little bit of backstory. Claude is not from the internet marketing space. I found Claude maybe 3 or 4 years ago, searching YouTube for cold call training. And I stumbled upon Claude teaching a very unique technique around generating leads via cold calling and how to get comfortable on the phone. And it happened to be within the real estate investing space. And fast forward 3 or 4 years, and I've watched probably hundreds of his videos, and I put on for an interview. So really happy to have you here, Claude.
I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely.
I always enjoy these interviews. I hope you ask me a lot of quirky questions.
I plan to. So you've got a really unique background. Why don't you give me a little bit of your background? You're recovering something.
A recovering attorney. I have a law degree back there. I have a doctorate in law. I have business degrees. I even have the degree I'm most fond of way back there, as you can see it on the wall, is my Morristown, New Jersey bartending school. The world has enough lawyers, way too many gurus, but it needs a couple bartenders who can make a good margarita.
Very cool. What got you into the real estate investing space?
It's like everybody else. I got real estate fever. I had a job with a Fortune 500 company, a good job, and I didn't like it. I said, "Is this my life? Is this what I'm going to do? Sit in a car, sit in traffic, spill coffee between my legs every day with stopping short?" I really got that bug, that entrepreneur bug, and I call it today. And I've been doing this 32 years, and I get very passionate when I talk about the freedom it's given my family. I don't need to be a guy standing in front of a jet or showing off cars and stuff. I just wanted to take care of my family, pay my bills, work from home. And it's grown and grown. It's like one guy sitting on a desk giving good phone can run a multi-million-dollar business. That's my only message to people, if they can learn how to sell. And so I went to all the gurus, all the seminars and everything. And I did one thing really smart besides marrying my high school girlfriend. I met a man who was the world's greatest salesman. He would make more money. I never saw anybody who could sell like this. And I've always wondered, how come some people can make so much money and the rest of us are always struggling for pennies, how did this one guy, he'd get on the phone and I saw him do this. And I talk about it every day. How does he get on the phone? He's so charismatic, so relaxed and natural that people love doing business with him. He didn't have to beg. He didn't have to be manipulative or tricky or anything. Right. People liked and trusted him. And he's like me, one guy in a nice house somewhere working out of his home with well, that was before Wi-Fi, but, and I studied, I worked for him. I fetched coffee and bagels for him, basically. That was my gauntlet or internship. And that one guy changed all the school, all the seminars, all the stuff. And I learned how to change my life financially by watching a master in sales. And I tell everybody, find somebody, like I know you coach your students, I believe, and you have packages and stuff like that. Find somebody who's doing it, who's not a big, this is a family show. Can I use adult language or should I keep it clean?
No, you're good.
I always ask, okay. There's so many bullshit artists out there. Oh, I did 50 deals in my SpongeBob boxer shorts before I had my Rice Krispies this morning. That's such garbage. It's real hard. This is a hard business. But we can make it a lot easier and a lot more fun and tremendously profitable if we know how to speak to people.
Right.
I'm sorry, I'm on a soapbox today. I've had too much.
No, I love it. I love hearing backstories. Yeah. So the mentor that you studied under, was he selling real estate? Was he an investor? What was he selling?
He was just a private investor who was an immigrant and came to this country with the shirt on his back. And he did one thing that was better than anyone else ever. He mastered the art and science of persuasion. He couldn't explain. The interesting thing, though, he's what you call a natural. And if you ask him, well, how did you do? You remember that one scene in The Wolf of Wall Street where he's in the boiler room?
Yep.
And the one guy goes, how the F did you do that? Max could not explain it to me. He was just natural.
Got it.
And I've got tons of books up here on psychology. I'm a junior psychologist, okay, and a thespian, an actor. And I studied how do you understand why people buy stuff? What is persuasion? What is influence? What is empathy? And I've studied Cialdini, if you're familiar with Robert Cialdini, the influence of psychology. I've studied Jung, Freud, Pavlov, one of my favorite, Dr. Eric Berne, transactional analysis. I've studied all these people. And I finally figured out a system, and I put it together, called it GUTS, the GUTS sales method.
Mm-hmm.
It's a simple 3-step system to make people comfortable in sales. I think a lot of people are way too uncomfortable in sales. I know I was. How about you?
Oh, absolutely. I thought it was all charisma, and I didn't realize that it could be systematic, and you can become more charismatic as you go. The more you train, the more you learn from someone that knows what they're actually doing. Talk to me about GUTS. What is GUTS? What does GUTS stand for? How do you implement it for somebody?
GUTS is what it's. GUTS is a mnemonic. It stands for Great Untraditional, Unorthodox Techniques of Sales and Success. It's the world's longest mnemonic. It's what lawyers love to use mnemonics. Okay, it just makes things easier. And you know what I found. What I found was that most people had to have a system of sales. Most people were always winging it.
Right.
And I wanted to make sales simple for people. And so I invented this 3 simple steps, basically agenda, qualification, commitment / close. 3 steps that you can memorize. GUTS is a question-based system. Like you go to your doctor, Ed. He or she asks you, Ed, how are you feeling? Why are you in here? What's bothering you? And they'll ask you a series of questions. And if you're in pain or discomfort, you don't mind that person being so intrusive, do you? Right? And in sales, what 99% of people do is they get on the phone, they read a script, they're real boring. The prospect says, oh shit, it's a salesman. Let me get off this thing right away. And then they raise the drawbridge. They either pick their brain for free and then dismiss them like they're a little child asking for another cookie out of the jar, or they talk down to them in a snippy disrespect. We've all had that prospect.
Yep.
And the prospect is subservient and submissive. They get off the phone. The guy says, I'll think about it. Call me in 2 weeks. Send me free information. There's no control. It's total chaos.
Right.
Okay. And they get on the phone and, and it's not fun for them. And then what happens is, because it's so depressing, it's so much rejection, it affects their psychological, their id, their ego, their self-esteem. Do you think they make any more phone calls, Ed?
Right.
They don't. They make no more phone calls because it's so much rejection. You don't mind if I tell the truth today, do you? I mean, I can give you the sugarcoat bullshit. No. I can tell I'm cursing too much. My wife's going to come down here soon. The thing about it is, sales can be fun. It can be unbelievably profitable if we have a system, if we practice that system, and we can generate enough confidence and self-esteem when we get on the phone, so we sound more like a doctor than a little child asking for Captain Crunch when mom goes shopping.
Right.
Does that make sense?
That makes total sense. I love it. Yeah. And the doctor analogy I use constantly as well.
Yeah.
What's the old saying? It's prescription without diagnosis is malpractice.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. If you're in there giving out medical advice without actually knowing what the hell's going on, it's a disaster.
I think you need a lot of guts to succeed in life.
Right.
Okay. You got to be your own cheerleader.
Right.
And there's a lot of guys going to a lot of seminars, and my clients are not just real estate, by the way. I work with people. GUTS sales method works in a variety of different businesses: insurance, marketing, car sales, network marketing. I work with a lot of people, but I got started in real estate. Mm-hmm. And I'd say at least half my clients are in the real estate field: realtors, investors, financial people. We have a lot of clients in 19 different countries now.
Gotcha.
What I do with them, I can talk about strategies all day long. I can talk about marketing, which is your area of expertise. I do a lot of social media marketing.
Right.
A little bit different than what I know you do. But
And a shitload of YouTube.
Oh yeah, shitload of YouTubes, thousands.
Right.
And I have thousands of followers, which I'm very grateful for. They have opted in, and those wonderful people buy my books. They contact me for mentoring. I mentor people one-on-one in real estate, in marketing, social media marketing. It's kind of my little niche specialty, but mostly for sales. They want to learn. Sales to me is the $1 million skill. You could be the smartest guy. I've met people so much smarter than me, Ed. Okay. I mean, they know their stuff. I've met people who have great leads or spend a lot of money on quality leads like your company provides. But then what happens when they get to this little communication device? They fall apart. You know, they got too many gurus telling them to read scripts. Hello, Mr. Stapleton Jr. How are you today? I am just reaching out. That doesn't work. So I asked myself, you know, from what I learned from Max and my studies, I asked myself, what do I need to do to get this person to just converse with me?
Right.
Just have a dialogue. Sir, what's the problem? What are you trying to do? Buy, sell, invest? What would you like to see happen? If I can help you do that, I have some ideas. Maybe I'd like to make you an offer on your property or at least help you solve the problem. If we could do that today, do you think we could make a commitment and move forward? It's okay to say no to me. Boom. Punch them right in the face. And right up front, we use something called pattern interrupts.
Right.
You know, and this is a fun way to start a conversation with people.
Right.
I'll call somebody up on the phone. Say hello. Say hello.
Hello.
Hey, Ed, why am I calling you today?
I have no idea.
Neither do I. I'm sorry. This is Mr. Stapleton Jr., right?
This is?
I got it. I got your message here, and I'm sorry. Do you ever have a messy desk with phone numbers and stuff? This isn't about real estate, is it?
It is. It is about real estate.
Oh, okay, great. You know what? I'm looking for real estate. I'd like to could I ask you a few quick questions and then make you an offer, and we can either do business or you can tell me to get lost. Fair?
Sure. That works.
Boom. That's gut selling. Okay. First 30 seconds. Boom. Go right to it. It's the one I give my students a 3-minute timer.
Okay.
What is it? So 180 seconds. See, a New York City school of my math skills are not great. But bottom line, in 3 minutes or less, I can enter into a conversation or get out.
Right.
And that makes sales fun. When sales is fun and you make more phone calls, guess what happens?
My wife heard you cursing. She just came in.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mrs. Stapleton. I apologize. He didn't tell me the wife and kids were here.
I'm just kidding. I got kids sleeping next door. I just got handed.
Oh, okay. I apologize.
I'm just busting balls. I'm just teasing.
Sometimes I get too excited about it.
I'm teasing.
Introduce your wife. Bring her on the show.
She already ran out. She's got a board meeting here coming up pretty soon. So she just
How long you been married? Oh, I should have never asked.
Took me a second. I had to think about that for a second.
I didn't ask for your wedding anniversary. November 29th, if my wife is March 29th, if my wife is watching.
Wow, you were off by a good half a year there. Let me ask you a question. If someone is scared to pick up the phone, they're very good at their job, they're very good at the implementation part of it, but are scared to actually have conversations, how do you get someone over that hurdle, that call anxiety? To get them?
You got to practice. You got to give them a system.
Yep.
You got to explain to them, first of all, why they're feeling that anxiety. It's natural, by the way. They're not unusual. I had it. Deep inside of me, there's a little kid with a blanket and a flashlight. Okay. One more bad word. Okay. I'm deep inside. I'm really a chicken shit. I just have a big mouth, and I've been doing this long enough.
Right.
Okay? And I finally got over that you can ask my wife. When we were married 34 years, when we were dating, I used to write talking points on a piece of paper on my hand here. I was so shy.
That's awesome.
You know, she made me nervous. That's why. And the thing about it is, I think we all have felt that way at one time or another. Initiating a conversation with a total stranger is so difficult. Speaking in front of groups. I speak in front of large audiences now. There was a time in my life I couldn't talk to 2 nuns and a Boy Scout. Okay. I mean, it was just, but I can take anybody. And this is kind of what I live for. I want to take somebody and teach them my system first, give them good materials, and just practice with them.
Got it.
Okay.
You're less script driven and more frameworks that you lay into different sections of the conversation. Is that a fair assumption?
I don't even use the word script. To me, a script shows lack of creativity and imagination. To me, a script is caca. Okay, I'm trying to clean up my act. To me, when do you and I, do we need a script to do this today? Did we write this all out? Oh wait, it's my turn to speak. Are we reading off a script right now, Ed? No. We're 2 people with, want to make an entertaining, informative video here.
Right.
Okay, we don't need a script.
Right.
Talk to somebody about real estate. Most of your clients are real estate, I presume.
Real estate is one business, and then the other business is like service professionals, doctors, roofers, lawyers, that kind of stuff.
Okay, generate more. Do they?
Yep.
And I think everybody has a certain queasiness about cold calling or even returning a warm call.
Yep.
About it, especially when that person gets on the phone and their perception is, oh no, another uninvited guest, another salesperson or something like that. And then right away they get, that little snippy, well, what do you want? Or something like that. And they're talking they would never speak to their next door neighbor or their kid's daycare center teacher or anything like that. But if you're an uninvited guest, how do they speak to you?
Nasty. They get
nasty. What happens?
Past the curse and just be nasty.
Yeah. What happens if all you get all day, I'm going to crush it. I'm going to make 100 phone calls with my VAs and my Mojo dialer and everything like that. And everybody you talk to treats you like you're trying to borrow money. I can't, I'm too sensitive, man. I cry. I cry at dog movies. Okay.
Yep.
I just saw Call of the Wild the other day with the dog. And the thing about it is, can we make sales? Can we teach people a system? Can we practice enough so they are so confident? They have such high self-esteem, not to be a bully or to intimidate people, but to be in control. I say something very controversial, and feel free to just, I say the salesperson comes first. Nobody else says this that I know. It's always the prospect. Give some more. And then they'll say, I'll think about it. That's not fun.
Okay.
I love making a sale. When I make a sale, man, that's the second best feeling in the world. I'm a foot above the ground. I love, that feeling when you made a sale off the sweat off your own brow.
Yep.
How good is that?
Yeah, it's the best.
It's the best. It's the best. But none of the programs that I see, I got people walking on hot coals, burning their feet for $4,000 or $5,000. They're giving them, write your affirmations down and hang them on the refrigerator. None of that teaches you how to get on this thing and talk to another human being and say, what's the problem? What's your issues? So set an agenda. You know what? I'm going to ask you some questions. If you like what I have, maybe we can do business. If not, fire me, please. I'm the only salesperson in the world who tells people to fire them. And I think that the GUT system, makes people feel so empowered. And I think the prospect says, hey, this is an authority figure. This is someone I should listen to this guy. Maybe he's got a good story here.
It's peer-to-peer as opposed to the underling coming out from under the shadows to some shitty product. Yeah.
Not crawling out from under a rock here. Right. I think most people get on the phone because they haven't had any training in persuasion and influence. They are naturally submissive and subservient to the prospect. And that's the kiss of death. That is doom.
Right.
That is doom, Ed. And the prospect senses the weakness. And it's a natural human instinct to pound on a weak guy trying to sell you.
Right. So you got to speak to that. You've got a video on your channel about the difference between an amateur and a pro.
Yeah.
Can you go into that?
An amateur uses scripts. An amateur is submissive and subservient. An amateur begs. Most salespeople sound like beggars to me.
Right.
Okay. And right away, that's the amateur. Then there's what I call the 1%ers.
Okay.
The Steve Jobs, the great communicators. And once you learn to be, you don't even have to be the smartest guy or have the best leads in the world, but can you turn chicken shit into chicken salad all day long? Bottom line, if I can speak to 3, 4, 5 prospects a day, okay, and have a nice conversation, and even if they say no to me, that's okay. If I can have that consistent positive behavior with a prospect, the likelihood statistically is that I'm going to make a sale. Great salespeople. It's really funny you said this. I had a group training session today, and I did this beautiful mind map about what is a great salesperson. And that's what do you want people to say about Ed Stapleton when they get off the phone with him during a sales talk? What do you want them to say? What do you want to go in their mind?
Ego-wise, I'd say he knew his shit, and he was making decisions based on their best interest.
I want people to say, you know what, I like Claude. Okay, maybe he's a little crazy, a little goofy, too much energy, but I think he's an honest guy. I think he's going to give me good value. I think he's going to help me solve my problem. If I can get enough people to think that way,
right?
Okay, and I use the different skills of psychology, not to be controlling, but to make them, it's my job to create a comfortable environment. If I can do that with enough people, I become a 1%er. I am one guy here. I'm going to sound like a jerk right now. Okay, but we have a great life. My wife and I are debt-free, mortgage-free, great health care. Okay, we have our retirement's been funded for 15, 20 years. My kids' college is all paid for. We have a life of plenty, and I owe it all to my mentor in learning sales. I'd be cleaning a Slurpee machine right now if I did not learn how to speak to people the right way, use the right words, the right enunciation, ask the right questions with stroking and nurturing and empathy.
Mm-hmm.
Once you learn these things, and it takes time and practice,
right?
But once you learn these things, you become free. If you're selling a good product or service to people, you do business honestly, ethically, you give good value to people, you're accountable, and you know how to sell. You have a blank check in front of you the rest of your life.
How fast can someone master giving good phone?
How hungry are they? I was hungry because I was broke in my life.
Right.
Do you ever go to bed and worry about money, Ed? I have.
Sure.
Okay. Do you ever
I'll give you one. When I hear a car backing up, even to this day, I get this weird twitch of when I was in a point in my life where I thought my car was going to get repossessed. So when I hear a car beep, in my mind, it instantly triggers a tow truck backing up.
Wow.
A few months later on a car bill, when I was first going into business, and I still have that visceral feeling come to mind when I hear a car back up. So I hear you.
Wow. And that's still with you today, huh?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Everything, I don't need to, I mean, obviously I still want more money. I still want more, but I don't have a worry currently that my car's going to be repossessed. And I still have that feeling. I still have that trigger.
I remember a time in my life when I literally didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. I would go to bed worried about paying the rent. It was embarrassing. It was depressing. And you go to bed thinking about money. You wake up when you take your 2 PMP, like I do, too much information. You think about money. You get up in the morning, you think about money. It just overwhelmed the bills. And you know what, right now, my heart with all that's going on in the world right now, my heart goes out to people who have these little mom and pop businesses or jobs that they're laid off right now, because maybe, they got to forget about paying the rent or the bills. They got to put food on the table for their kids right now.
Yep.
And the thing is, my mission in life right now is to teach people teach them guts, teach them how to sell so that they can have the freedom that you and I are talking about today. As long as they're selling a good product or service or consulting or whatever, and they don't have any reluctance to speak to potential high probable or probable prospects, which you're an expert at. That's all I need. Give me a couple, give me 3. You know what I tell my students? Talk to 5 people a day. I don't care if it's cold call, warm call, follow-up call. Talk to 5 people a day. Make 5 offers a day. Follow up with 5 people a day. And in 1 week, you will see magic happen if you're selling a good product or service.
Right.
You will see magic happen. But I think what most people do is they get on the phone, they get that rejection, Ed, and then they, oh, well, maybe I better wash the car now. I'll make those calls later.
Right.
That's the roadmap to failure.
Right.
So if we can change all that and make people love the phone, love getting on the calls, love getting on Skype or Zoom, and which is what I get on video with my clients. I use a lot of video.
Right.
I'm on Zoom and Skype all day long, FaceTime.
Yep.
Okay. I got a face for radio, but I embrace, but I embrace video because, where do you live, Ed? I'm sorry, I forgot.
I'm in Cary, North Carolina.
Oh, that's right. You told me earlier. I'm near Pinehurst, Raleigh, Durham, right?
Yep.
Okay. I'm here on the mountaintop in Colorado. Okay. It's like I'm in Cary right now and you're in Colorado. Look how good this works.
Yep. It's incredible.
It's incredible. I don't have to get on a plane for a meeting. I don't go to companies and, we want you to come to our company and tell us about maybe hiring you for sales training. I said, I can't do it, sir. We'll set it up on Zoom. Well, we like people in person. I said, I don't want to get on an airplane right now. There's a little thing called a pandemic going on.
Yep.
Okay. But we can do the same thing right now. Or would you like to fire me instead? Boom. Right. Guts is very empowering and very assertive.
Yep. Yep.
It teaches people to feel good about themselves.
Right.
And that's the point. And I'm not looking for a fight or anything. I believe in bonding and rapport, but I want to get on the phone with people and have fun, not just make money or get a contract or another appointment, but I want to if I can have fun conversations all day long. Imagine that for a moment. You have fun conversations with people. Even if you don't do business, but you get off the phone, maybe you can follow up with that person. Maybe you'll do business in a month, 6 months or whatever. You can make that next phone call with no reluctance, can't you?
Yep. Yep. So 2 things that I really, I love watching your videos about your role plays specifically. You've got probably hundreds of role plays on your channel. Is excellent pattern interruption, where you get people, get them out of the daily grind and actually listen to the conversation. Then you're excellent at future pacing, getting people to put themselves in a future state. And you do that with your imagine for a second.
Ooh.
Go through that for me and walk through how you future pace using that and why you do that. It's
part of, boy, you're making me give away all my secrets today.
Oh,
by the way,
good.
Anybody who's watching, I got a free book for you. Instead of you don't have to go on Amazon or eBay and spend all kinds of money. They can just go to my webpage, Claude Diamond, and they can get a free book. So I wanted to offer that to all your viewers.
Awesome. I'll when we're done, I'll get a link and I'll put it into the show notes.
ClaudeDiamond.com, and they get a free book. We send it to them right away, and
awesome.
It's great. It's my story actually. It's a little fiction, a little truth about meeting a mentor and learning sales, and it's a happy ending. It's a good. I sell a lot of these. But I'll give it to your guys away for free. What was the question again? Where were we?
Imagine for a second.
Imagine for a moment. When you use the word imagine and you blend it with the right tonality, the right words, you get the prospect into something we call a conversational trance. Okay, I don't want to do too much psychobabble here, but if I go to you and I say, imagine you want a home. Mm-hmm. I say, Ed, you're with your family and the kids and and the 5 chihuahuas in that little 1-bedroom apartment in Cary. Can you imagine for a moment the kids are outside and they're playing with the water hose on the fresh cut grass? Can you smell that? And the kids are squealing and having fun, and they're safe, and there's a nice white picket fence around the backyard with a swing set. And you and your wife are inside. There's this great roast in the oven. I hope you're not a vegan. I always get in trouble with vegans. And and the roast is in the oven, and you know that good that Thanksgiving smell that you get, and you're in the living room, and you're and your wife, you're snuggling on this nice soft couch, and the fireplace is. Can you hear the crackle of the fireplace? And it's a cold night in Cary, North Carolina, and you're feeling that nice warmth, and you're snuggling in a blanket, and you're sipping a nice. Are you a beer or wine guy or a margarita?
I'm both. I like them both.
I love everything, you know.
Yeah.
You're sipping this wonderful, tasty wine that you have. Right. Can you see yourself? Can you imagine yourself in May? If we could get you and your family there, can you imagine? How would you feel about having that kind of environment? If we could make that happen for you and your wife and your kids. And instead of wasting your money, you're spending a lot of money. How many years have you been renting that little apartment, Ed?
3 years.
3 years. That's a lot of money. $1,000 a month, $36,000. No appreciation, no tax benefits. You know, nothing except rent receipts. Imagine that $36,000 went to your own property. You get the appreciation, the tax benefits. You get the pay down of the mortgage. You get the improvement in a higher credit score while you and your wife are sipping that wine and the kids are playing in the backyard on that fresh cut grass lawn. Can you smell it? Can you see it? Can you hear it? Can you taste it? Can you feel it, Ed?
Right.
Imagine if we could do that all for you. What would you say to me next?
Right. Yeah, let's do it. I like it.
I'm sorry, what?
I said, let's do it. I like it.
Okay. Now that was way off the role play. You were great, man. Right. Thank you. That was over the top. That was way over the top. But did you see the words I used? How I used the words? How I painted a picture in your mind? I mean, did you taste the wine? Did you smell the turkey in the oven? Did you hear the kids giggling and laughing outside? Were you snug on that couch with your beautiful wife? I used the senses. I used the words. Okay. Yep. I use everything. And all that stuff. And if I can put this in your mind, it's almost a form of what we call conversational hypnosis. It is the power of persuasion and everything. See, I could read you a script. Hi, well, the house, the house is 1,800 square feet and it has 2 bedrooms, 2 baths. I didn't do that. That's what my competition does. That's garbage. That's garbage, old world, intellectual selling. My job is to make it emotional and paint a portrait in your mind so that your mind is wandering. Oh, wow, I could see the kids. I'm on the couch, the nice kitchen, the fireplace, sipping the wine. If this is gut selling, it's a little, I don't know if this is a different way of selling.
Right.
But gosh, is it effective? It's made me financially free because I know how to speak to people in such a way that raises their EQ, their emotional quotient.
Okay.
This is 2020 selling, not 1956 selling.
Right. Right. So if that's your future pacing, what would be an example of like another application of psychology in a conversation, like a reverse psychology usage, something like that?
I don't know what you mean. Help me out a little here.
Is that reverse psychology?
Yes, I just did it to you.
Right. So yeah. So are you just bouncing the ball back in my court and having me
great question. No one ever asked me about reverse psychology. We call it redirection. Redirection can be positive or can be negative. But if you just reverse all the time, it's a little obvious and it might even be insulting. So what you have to do is blend it with what we call stroking and nurturing.
Sure.
Which is a technique. Ask me a question. Why is the sky blue? Well, why do I, anything you want. Ask me any kind of question.
I see a lot of runner badges in the back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I love to run. I've run 5 New York City marathons. Now, you must have asked that for a reason. You're not interested in running today, are you? That's a great question, by the way. Thank you for bringing it up.
No, I should run. I need to lose some pounds, so I need to.
Well, we all do. It's tough
Yeah.
with this staying indoors and everything. I run every day 10 miles. I love running. So, and it's just something I enjoy and I look forward to. That if I could help you to get, I have a rule. I don't know if you wouldn't be interested in learning how to start running just by a little 5-minute rule, would you?
I'd be open for 5 minutes.
Every day, just say to yourself, I'm going to take a 5-minute walk. And if it's a nasty day or you just don't feel up to it, the couch is calling you more than the walk. That happens to me a lot. Go out for 2.5 minutes and then turn around, come 2.5 minutes back. Suppose I could show you, boom. And that's the thing about it is now I take control of the conversation and I learn how to ask questions. Sometimes I'll partially answer the question. It's called a stop and go technique. And sometimes I'll always blend it with a stroke. Great question, Ed. Glad you brought it up. You must have asked it for a reason. And now you have to explain why you asked that question.
Got it. So if it's
somebody, go ahead.
Yeah. No, it'd be like if it was an objection in a conversation, you want to find out if it's a real objection or just a hiccup in the conversation, or if there's.
Yeah. Sometimes people just ask questions for no reason at all.
Right.
Or they'll bring up something. And I'll say to them, now that's a great question. You must have asked that for a reason. Right. Or I'll start to answer the question and then I'll stop. Ed, great question. I wish more people would ask me that. Suppose I could find you a home that met with your budget. This isn't something you want to do right away, is it? So now I just went negative. A negative reverse psychology. A little tricky here. Takes a little practice. But if I go hard negative, where do I hope you're going to go?
Swing positive.
Right. I can even go positive.
Yep.
I get people call me up. Well, what's the difference between you and Dale Carnegie or Anthony Robbins? I'll say they're good people. When you call them up on the phone, what did they say to you? You should be working with them. Why are we even talking today? Well, they don't do this. They don't answer their phone. They're too much money. Then they go negative. Now I know how to see. We work too hard in sales. We can get the prospect to do all the work.
Yep.
We can get I have had prospects who turned into the salesperson. They gave me the presentation. They overcame their own stalls and objections. They even closed themselves.
Right. Now, are you using negatives or negative reversing more in your middle portion of it or towards the closes as well?
I threw the whole thing.
The whole thing? Got it.
Yeah. I mean, it's when I design guts. A great question. Thank you. I design guts to be flexible. Okay. So that even though there are 3 simple steps, we call it the staircase of success. I designed the 3 simple steps so that you could use them interchangeably at different points. You could use redirection at different points. The thing is to get the prospect, we call it the $1 million rule. If I can get somebody thinking in their head, fantasizing, okay, imagine for a moment like you did, and I can get them emotionally involved and sharing information. I can find out, do they have a need? Do they have the money to pay for the need or the house? Is it in the correct time frame? Are they motivated enough? Can they make a decision? Do they have the authority to make a decision? And do they have the character to keep that decision? It's almost like, I call it empathy, but it's really mind reading. I can actually, and not all the time, nothing's foolproof, but I can actually get the prospect to do all the work, give me all the information, and tell me how to sell them.
Got it.
That's pretty powerful stuff. See, I didn't say shit.
That's okay. Interesting. So we went over reversing. We went over pattern interruption. How else are you using psychology in a call besides the actual salesperson themselves getting in the psychological frame to actually pick up the phone call or pick up the phone and make the outbound call? How else is psychology used in a sales conversation?
It's basically so that I can determine in minutes, sometimes seconds, what kind of prospect am I talking with? Am I talking with somebody who has a sincere problem and is looking for solutions, someone who's just having a bad day and wants to kick my butt, wants a fight,
Yep.
somebody who just, is a, what do we call it, a looky-loo or a fishing expedition.
Right.
Can you imagine if you knew ahead of time, if you could actually read people's minds and you understood their personality, their disposition, their budget, their decision-making process? Imagine if you could, just by the way you ask questions and tell stories, you could actually know, okay, this is a prospect. He's got the money. He's got the house. He's got whatever. He can make the decision you make. That the study of human behavior makes you such a, sales to me is the $1 million skill, but
Right.
we take it for granted. It's something you've got to learn how people think and how they behave. The hardest thing for me is sometimes, in the old days before video, when I was on the phone and I'd ask a question and I knew exactly what they were going to say ahead of time and I'd laugh, I could hit the mute button. When I'm on camera here, the only thing I can do is duck under the screen or something like that. It's so much fun to sell people and know exactly where the conversation is going. I close people in one phone call. I've closed people in real estate deals. It's not bragging, it's just factual. I learned from my mentor how to sell, how to persuade and influence. And sometimes it's 2 phone calls, but never 3.
So the two would be you're big on getting that ethical commitment at the end that they're going to live up to.
I get a commitment up front. Hey, Mr. Hey, Mr. Stapleton, I'd like to earn your trust and do business with you today. But if we can't do business, could you say, Claude, get lost and I'll leave you alone?
Right.
But if we can solve your problem in a timely manner that meets with your approval and is comfortable for your budget, can we make a commitment to move forward? Is that all right?
Got it.
What? I'm sorry, sir.
Yes, sir. I'm in.
I just closed you. I tentatively closed you. I just got a partial commitment up front.
Right. Yep.
I'll go in front of for a company. They want to hire me, and and I'll be one of 2, 3, 4 guys or whatever from different sales companies. And they'll go in front of them and they'll give a $1 million presentation. And then the prospect says, thank you for coming. You were great. We'll review this and get back to you. When I get there, I'll say, guys, why am I here? What do you want to get from me today? What do I have to do to earn your trust, respect, and get a commitment today? Or should I, do you want another $1 million 45-minute presentation? Or do we want to talk about the problem, the real issue, why I'm here? Mm-hmm. I'm basically the therapist who puts the patient on the couch or whatever. And I says, see, we've got to get, I'm not doing a very good example now, but I got to get the prospect talking more than me.
No, you are doing a good job. You're painting the picture.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Can I get them telling me, Claude, this is our problem. This is what I'm looking for. If I could find, this is boom. Or they tell me, Claude, I don't have any money to buy the house or to buy, this or that, or I don't have the authority. I have to go to my board of directors or this or that, or we don't want to do business until 2025. Can you imagine if you knew that up front? How would that change? Would you spend 45 minutes on the phone with that prospect if you knew that they had all this baggage?
Right.
You wouldn't. You'd say, okay, it sounds like it's over. Why don't I call you in 2025? Or when your budget does allow you to do this, please feel free to get back to me. Or why don't we talk? Why don't we get your board of directors or your spouse on the phone right now so I don't have to give this presentation 5 times?
Right. I 100% agree with what you're saying here. When my appointments are set for me and I have a sales presentation, I'm saying I'm giving them a 3 to 5 minute window where I'm going to ask some questions to make sure it makes sense for us to move forward. If it's of interest and you like what you hear, we can keep going. If not, I want to end this pretty quick and save my time, save your time, because time is precious. So I agree. I want to make sure it makes sense for us to have a future conversation or a further conversation. No one wants
to. Guys, why am I here? What are we trying to accomplish today?
Right.
Is this a mutual admiration society? You want me to read a script? Do you want me to show you 48 slides on my PowerPoint? Or why don't we just have an adult to adult? This is transactional analysis, by the way, Dr. Eric Byrne, brilliant man. He wrote a book called Games People Play. And he basically said that we can be the adult who is non-emotional, who is intellectual, what we're doing right now. Just two guys exchanging information, having a lot of fun. Or are we a parent, which is a parent is either very critical or very nurturing, or are we childlike? We're immature, we're curious, we're not sophisticated. And he made determining personalities or an emotional content very easy to read. He made 3 simple steps: parent, adult, child. I've taken all my different areas of study, and what I've tried to do is make it into an honest dialogue with another adult. You know, I've had people call me up, you know, go ahead, ask me, why should I work with you? Go ahead, you can be nasty.
Why would I work with you, Claude? What's the deal?
Maybe you shouldn't, Ed.
You're right. Yeah.
Maybe you should. Maybe I'm not the right guy. Well, I was wondering the same thing myself. Why are we even talking today, Ed?
Right.
What are you looking for?
I was hoping you'd have some sort of presentation to show me or something.
I don't know how to present to you. I don't know your problem yet. I'm like a doctor. If I was a doctor and you came in my office and I said, hop on the table, let's do some back surgery, I don't think you'd go for that, right? If I owned a garage and you pulled in and I said, oh, we better put in a new engine and transmission, you'd leave right away. Do you want me to give you something? Do you want gobbledygook, or do you want an honest dialogue?
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
Which means?
I guess ask your questions and I'll answer them for you.
Can I ask a few questions and then you ask me a few? Let's figure out how to fix this puppy, okay?
Yeah, that works.
That's gut selling.
Got it.
You understand, I got to protect Claude first. The salesman comes first in my world. Not because I'm so egocentric or anything, but if I don't take we always say sales is a profession, right? But we don't act professional. We act like beggars.
Right.
I think we're doomed to fail if we're subservient to the prospect, if we just give them all their answers and do all that free consulting, then ask for the order 5 times, the price goes up on Friday, the impending event to close, the Ben Franklin close. We do that old school shit. Sorry, Mrs. Stapleton. If we, I
got one for you.
Okay, and I have to go in a couple minutes just to let you know.
Perfect. So if a prospect says they'll come to a conclusion at the end of the call, and all of a sudden it comes to the end of the call and you don't get that yes, but it seems like it is a legitimate prospect, how would you handle that gap to get to a second call to close?
I might not. Okay, I might say something like this. Mr. Stapleton, can I call you Ed? I'm Claude.
Yep.
That's actually off the role play. That's actually a psychological mood to make it more rapport, or more like, Ed, you and I made a commitment up front that we were going to make a decision today. Obviously, you're not comfortable with that right now. I'm going to make an offer to solve your problems. You told me A, B, C, D, and E. I'm going to try to make it work within your budget. And here's what we'll do. My offer expires at 6:30 today. I'd like to speak with you at 4:30 today on video, answer any questions. And at that time, we'll either decide to move forward or it's over. Is that fair, Ed?
Got it.
And if we can't, and Ed, if we can't do that, my offer is off the table, never to be revisited.
Got it.
See, that's called scarcity. Dr. Robert Cialdini, the persuasion and influence and psychological sales, and basically scarcity. When you use scarcity and social proof, meaning with that, you're saying to the prospect, hey, I'm a doctor with a waiting room full of patients here. I don't have 2 hours to hear your life story and how you didn't like your mother. We need to find a way to fix this problem right now, or it's over.
How would you inject scarcity if it was not a life event like a home sale, and more something like insurance sales or marketing sales, where scarcity is going to be fake?
Ed, you strike me as a man who loves his family. Why do I feel that way? How many kids you have?
2.
2 kids. Can I tell you a sad story?
Sure.
You want to think about it and everything, but I had one guy, I remember he was thinking about an insurance policy. He was the breadwinner of his family. He was hit by a meteor and his wife had no career. The kids had to be pulled out of private school. They lost the house. They had to move in with his mother-in-law, who was a witch. They lost the car. You strike me as a man who loves his family. You know, I'm here to help you right now. I can't come back and forth, or I don't want to call you 20 times. I'm here today to help you protect your family. Is it worth giving up going out to dinner once a month so we could protect your family? Or
Yeah.
should I leave?
Yeah, fair enough. That makes sense.
This is what I do, Ed. Let me help you protect your family for a reasonable amount. I can do term or whole life insurance, whatever you like. But I'd like to help you do that today. If not, I got 20 other people to talk to today. It's a very busy. Why do you think I have so many clients? Why do you think I'm a 1%er, Ed?
You're good at what you do?
I'm damn good at what I do. I take care of my clients. They're part of my extended family. Would you like to join my family?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Sign me up.
Sign here. Boom. That's gut selling.
Okay. Awesome.
It's power. I'm over the top today, but basically, in putting using emotion, using questions with the right
Right.
and nurturing, redirection, reverse psychology. It's all. If you listen to this video a couple times, you'll identify so many different moves. There's no way. You know what's the beauty of it? There's no waste in it. Everything is for a reason. And the final word on this, I think this is honest. I like selling people honestly. Instead of that little game, that little cat and mouse game that salespeople and prospects play. Aren't we all sick of that? Aren't we sick of that garbage?
Yeah, I agree.
You know, with, oh, Ed, thanks, and send me the information, and I'll talk with my wife, and I'll get back to you in the near distant future. You know, did you make any money on that?
No, not at all.
See, it's like sales is like my oxygen.
Yeah, that's what the world is sorely missing right now.
Yeah.
Sales.
Yeah. You know, I got to tell you something. And I almost feel I'm very grateful to this business. I talked to my wife, honey. Here we are. I'm working from home. We are very comfortable. The business is doing great, even with all this garbage in the news and everything. Because I've always worked from home. I said, and you know, and so many people out there are suffering right now, or can't sell because of all this stuff going on. But you know, if I could just get people, at least in service industries or product sales, if I could get them to be better salespeople, oh my gosh, they would make so much more money and have a lot more fun.
Very good. I appreciate this.
You're welcome.
This has been a lot of fun, Claude. I've watched your videos for a long time now, and it's
nice. You're still here.
Yeah. Well, it's nice to finally be face to face with you. So
it really is, and thank you for inviting me. And I got a free book for everybody at ClaudeDiamond.com. You just have to go there. There's a little button to press. And
can you buy the physical book on Amazon as well?
I want to give it a, yes, they can buy it on eBay, on Amazon. They can buy it everywhere. But if they go to my webpage, they just got to click a little button that says free book.
Okay.
So why pay for it if I'm giving it away for free? The question you should now ask yourself is, why is he doing that?
Why is he doing that?
Yeah. Next interview.
Yeah. Sounds good, man. I really appreciate your time today. This has been great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ed. This was great.
Awesome. All right. End of recording.